Thousands of athletes going for the gold, and as the clear champion of the bathroom, Dollar Shave Club deserves a gold medal. Dollar Shave Club has everything you need to look, smell, and feel your best. Shampoo, body wash, toothpaste, and of course, the best razors you'll ever use. You get an amazing high-quality shave every morning from the DSC Executive Razor. Plus, the true gold standard of any morning routine is their Dr. Carver Shave Butter. It helps the razor gently glide across your skin. Dollar Shave Club delivers everything to you. That means no more trips to the store, wandering the aisles, hunting for razors, shampoo, and toothpaste, then playing cashier, scanning and bagging your stuff. Go for the gold. Join Dollar Shave Club today, and for just $5 with free shipping, you'll get the 6-blade executive razor plus trial sizes of shave butter, body cleanser, and one-wipe Charlie's. Then keep the blades coming for a few bucks more a month. Get yours at dollarshaveclub.com/Golic. That's dollarshaveclub.com/Golic.
Gym Class Heroes kicking us off here. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. It is Golic and Wingo on ESPN Radio and ESPN2. I'm Adnan Verk in for Trey, as always, represented by Progressive Insurance. All of our phone guests on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line alongside, this is how you want to spend a Lover's Day.
Sure.
The couple of the Golics.
Yeah.
Father and son.
How about that? What a day. What a romantic day.
Now, Hope, our makeup artist, was already chastising us. She goes, it's Valentine's Day. There's no candy hearts. There's no flowers and such. So we were looking at Mike Jr. for that.
That is true. I kind of dropped the ball on that because the one thing we can all agree, whatever your feelings on Valentine's Day are, it's another in a long line of good excuses to eat sugar. And we have clearly missed the boat on that this morning. So a little disappointed. There's not even a lot of festiveness in here.
No, there isn't.
We didn't create a loving environment.
But we know
morning.
tomorrow is the big run on chocolate.
That is true.
It's the big deals. You get the lower priced chocolates and goodies and things like that. But listen, Valentine's Day. I heard you say it this morning, Mike, and I agree. For a guy, I think you take it about as seriously as your partner does.
Great point. You look to the lead from her. If she's really into it, you go flowers and chocolates, poems, harps.
If somebody in the couple is more into it, then you have to be into it, right?
Yeah,
you just have to be.
That is when you rise to meet the level of the person that is at the highest level, because if you don't, you've created an unnecessary fight. Like people that want to say that Valentine's Day is overdone and a Hallmark holiday and all that stuff. Right. That's great. That's fine for you to hold that opinion until it matters to the other person, because then it's equally as much of a fight that you could have avoided over something that is very easy to just send a card, send flowers, send chocolate.
Yeah, it's definitely a Hallmark holiday. It feels programmed, but that's a great point that you have to do something. I don't know anybody who just doesn't do anything. You got to do flowers, chocolate, something, unless the other person clearly, unequivocally states, no, I hate Valentine's Day. You better not do anything because I'm not doing anything for you. All right, fair enough.
And then there's the side of it where does that person say it and do they mean it? And then where do you find out the truth then?
You got to go mining. You got to use the friends. That's what I've always said, is that's why it pays to be in well with her people.
Right.
Because you've got to go in there and do that homework. Because if you don't know and you're finding out today, I have a feeling things aren't going to go well with you.
How about that panic-stricken look you can see on a guy's face when he realizes he didn't do anything and needed to do something?
And I mean, and it's one you pay for a while. It can be subtly thrown back at you, or it can be a sledgehammer thrown back at you. And then is it celebrated in your house?
Yeah, my wife is not crazy into it, and I think that what happens is, and I don't want to say this like as a married couple, but enthusiasm wanes over the years. Not in a bad way, but listen, let's celebrate anniversaries. Birthdays are big. Kids' birthdays are big. Valentine's Day is like, all right, let's do something. We're going to go out for lunch. It's fine. But it's not the festive occasion, I think.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing going on in my house. My wife and I are going on 31 years of marriage and celebrating a few Valentine's Day before that.
Right.
We do lunch all the time, and we also eat all the time? Chocolate.
Exactly.
So, this is kind of another day for us, another day in the life of the Golics. So she has never really been into it either, and for real, not really into it. So
not just saying that on the side. She legitimately is not really.
She hasn't been just saying that for 31 years now, waiting for that day you finally come through.
At least I hope not, or I have just have so much built up against me at this point. It would be horrific.
You do that in enough other avenues. I think that this would be an area you're saying. Right. I understand that for most people, Valentine's Day is very publicly jumped the shark. It's more become International Singles Day, where you'll find out exactly who on your timeline is single.
Right.
I am waiting for that to happen with engagement rings before it becomes time for me to ever go down that road, because it's equally as artificial of a construct and it's just more of an expensive one.
That's true. Much more expensive.
It's a great plan just to jump the shark because you go from Valentine's. At some point, somebody must have thought Valentine's Day is a great idea.
Oh, yeah.
Then it became passe to hate on Valentine's Day. Now it's International Singles Day. When will it go back? Will there ever be a shift? People, you know what? I think Valentine's Day is awesome. I think that there's a Hallmark holiday that I can appreciate. Will we ever go back, or does the pendulum just go?
No. It probably everything circles back around, and you know what the highest of high today is? Those that get engaged today.
Correct.
There will be those that fall down on one knee and ask that I was going to say dreaded question. It shouldn't be a dreaded question. Didn't mean that.
Well, there you go. You found a way to make problems for yourself on a day where you said it was easy.
Didn't mean dreaded. Ask the question. You know that's going to happen today. It's going to be planned out at a Valentine's lunch or a Valentine's dinner or something. Right. There will be engagements going on today.
Here's my big thing, though. The guy that has an elaborate plan, he's going to engage, and then all of a sudden he proposes, sees a look in his prospective fiance's face, and all of a sudden knows
I've made a huge mistake.
Yeah, she's not going to say yes.
It's not the realization you want to have, and that's why, in general, I'm not a big fan of the Valentine's Day proposal, a New Year's Eve proposal, any sort of public proposal, the stadium proposal.
Because you've ruined it forever now. Like, if you have a Valentine's Day proposal that goes awry, that day is permanently scarred.
Especially now, where everything lives forever on the internet, because you're not just doing that for you or just the people there. You are doing that for all of us on the internet.
Wow. You know what? Right out of the gate, I got to give it up for Brad.
He tweet the show, Golic and Wingo, give us your Valentine's Day fails.
Yeah, that's what we want. We want your Valentine's Day fails. We'll give the phone number out as well where you can leave a message of your fail. But Brad, right out of the gate, Valentine's Day tip for men to really win the day. Buy a dozen roses, replace one of the real roses with a fake rose, and tell them that you'll love them until the day the last one dies. You're welcome, fellas. That from Brad. Brad, well done. Well done.
That's unbelievable.
Right out of the gate. I'm giving Brad a gift card. 1-800-Flowers.com
That's unbelievable. The guy got a gift card right away.
Brad, go ahead. You get a gift card.
606.
Wow. You get a gift card. You get a gift card. You get a gift card. Yes.
Take the under on the gift card.
Absolutely. Brad gets a gift card. That's a great idea.
That is a great idea.
Wow.
860-506-5505 if you'd like to leave a voicemail with your epic Valentine's Day
fail. We don't want to hear the love stories and the success stories. There's enough of those. That's great.
We want misery. We want misery.
Misery on Valentine's Day.
Yeah. Bring it early and often.
It's time for Off the Top.
Whether you like it or not, it's just beginning.
With Golic and Wingo.
Golic and Wingo is presented by Progressive Insurance. Our guest list for today, Larry Nance Sr. at 7:30, Keith Olbermann at 8:05, Tim Legler at 8:30, and Katie Nolan at 9:30. All phone guests. Join us at the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. If you miss any of those guests, you can listen to all 4 hours on demand on the ESPN app. Cavaliers beat the Thunder last night.
Boy.
Your guy scoring 120 points for a franchise record 4th straight game. LeBron James paced all scorers with 37 points, with the Cavs bench also potent, outscoring the Thunder reserves by 31, the largest bench scoring differential by a LeBron James team in his career. How about it?
Incredible. 51-20 outscored on the bench. You had the guys coming off the bench of the new guys, Rodney Hood, Jordan Clarkson, Larry Nance Jr. 41, as you mentioned, 41 between them. Jeff Green, another 10 off the bench. LeBron with 37 in this one. And we weren't sure who was it with, Russell Westbrook and Carmelo were going to play. They all played.
Injuries,
all of Russell played. Carmelo played, Paul George played. So, again, looking good in this. And now, do we know this is the rotation? Do we know this will be the starting lineup going forward? It was 3 of the 4 new ones coming off the bench. George Hill, the one starter of the new players coming in on this one. So, still working through that. But to away from the X's and O's, Mike, the enthusiasm that this team is showing, it's like the honeymoon phase. They're in it for a while. Now they were on the honeymoon phase. Now they go on break for a little bit, and they're still anxious to see one another after the break.
Yeah, it's poorly timed, really, going into the All-Star break, because you've been thriving now. I remember the first time I played meaningful action at Notre Dame was because of an injury. Went into the first quarter, and you don't have time to think in those moments. You're just going out there and giving everything your max. You make mistakes at 100 miles an hour. That's where this Cavs team's been right now. There's not a lot of practice time. There's not a lot of anything else. How do they adjust through this All-Star break coming out on the other side where everyone, them and other teams included, have time to digest this new Cavs team is going to tell us a lot about what their prospects are going forward.
Yeah, we'll talk more about the Cavs in just a second.
Off the Top.
Rockets made 10 3-pointers in the fourth quarter in the 126-108 win against the Timberwolves, matching the most in a fourth quarter in NBA history. Houston has 7 games at least 20 3-pointers made this season, 2 more than every other team in the NBA combined. This is the thing, Mike. We keep thinking Warriors. And, of course, Houston's not going anywhere. Another prolific performance of that offense. Those guys are scorching.
I just love – I mean, this is where we are with this team. They are just loading up threes. If you ever see a guy take a step inside the three-point line and take a shot like the longest distance two you could take, he's probably going to get pulled out of the game. I think it's just been coached out of those guys to ever do that. Half game sitting behind the Warriors right now, and we keep saying this is the team that could possibly – give Golden State some kind of trouble before they get to the finals. I guess you have to keep buying that. We know Oklahoma City has done well against the Warriors this year, but I really think it's more on Houston and what they can do, because when they bomb threes and hit threes, man, they may be the best team out there.
And it's interesting, this seems at this point to be the runaway MVP season for James Harden, finally. A guy who's been close, was the player's choice a couple of years ago. And you look over the last couple of seasons, we know triple-doubles were huge for Russ last year, but 30 and 10 games, 30-point, 10-assist games over the last 2 seasons. James Harden has actually outpaced even Russell Westbrook there. 37 games of such to 34 for Russell Westbrook. So this has been who he's been in that Mike D'Antoni offense.
Yeah, no question. With D'Antoni, all of a sudden things change for guys.
Off the top.
Trae Young, speaking of offense, season low 25% from the field. Number 23, Oklahoma's loss at 7th ranked Texas Tech, including going 0 for 9 from 3-point range. He's now missed his last 16 3-point attempts as the Sooners fell on the road for the 7th straight time. He's clearly a special player, but obviously also hit a road bump lately, Mike.
Yeah, he did, and contested shots as well. The Texas Tech contested 12 of his 16 shots and 82% of his shots in 2 meetings this season. He only made 22% of those contested shots. We saw that more in a few games this year. I know one when they played Alabama. Right. They were on him real hard, and that's kind of been the way to go against him. I did love the fact when LeBron was asked about if Trae Young should be coming out or not, or the decision to come out and be pro. It was great. If we at some point, I think we might have the sound on that. It was fantastic about his thought process there. But let's also look at, we talk a lot about Trae Young. Let's look at the other side. Mm-hmm. Texas Tech has won 7 straight games, leads the Big 12 by a game over Kansas. So don't sleep on them. As we get close to the end of the season here.
Jayhawks a different team at Fog Allen. They've actually been mortal at home. And Texas Tech, the questions around them is offensive efficiency. There's no questions about their defense. That's why they're a top 10 team, one of the big surprises of the year.
Well, and you saw that, especially length on the perimeter really was what was giving Trae Young a lot of trouble when you've got defenders that are 6'5" and 6'6" in your face. As a guy who's trying to be a shooter as the known focal point of that offense, Texas Tech, the dealings looked a little easier. That offense moved a little bit more freely. And so for Oklahoma, it's going to be for Trae Young, understanding he's a marked man. We've seen him reinvent his game in little spurts throughout the season, becoming more assist-oriented when his coach challenged him. How does he adjust down the stretch right now, knowing that despite what that first ranking might have said, this is a team that down the stretch has struggled right now?
Yeah, no question about it. We'll see what happens with Trae Young and company. By the way, the crossover tonight, college basketball and NBA analysts switching all over the place, so make sure you join us on ESPN and ESPN2.
You having fun with that thing?
I was going to say, this sucker is definitely...
go ahead.
Just
keep going again. Go ahead. You're hitting it really hard. Punch it.
There it is. Hit it.
When in doubt, kick it.
Exactly.
Go ahead, look at it.
There's no losers here.
Nope.
Shaun White won the gold medal in the men's halfpipe, the 3rd time he has won Olympic gold in the event, formerly known as the Flying Tomato, now just Shaun White. 100th gold medal in the Winter Olympics for the United States. How about that? 2nd most all-time, behind only Norway.
Yeah, Norway has 121 Winter Olympic gold medals. The United States 100. Then Germany sits there at 91. We've been killing it in the snowboarding gold so far this year. We swept the 4 snowboarding golds, setting the record for most snowboarding golds in a single Olympics. It's been pretty, and we said so. I mean, that's been impressive. And how old is he? Is he?
This is 3rd straight Olympic gold, so there's still talk that he might be around for the next Winter Olympic Games
just
as well.
Amazing what's going on, and we still haven't had Michaela Schifrin yet. She got postponed yet again.
Real disappointment. I can't wait to watch the skiing, and this is the thing with the Winter Olympics. Now, some people love this. They go, no, there's always chaos. You cannot tame Mother Nature.
No.
For the skiers, it's been brutal now.
The downhill stuff and the slalom stuff with the high winds, no. That's a bad mixture, so still looking forward to she'll start tonight in the giant slalom, but but we're just killing the snowboard.
Yeah, that's a difficult prospect for her, too. We talk about you don't always get the volume of events in the Winter Olympic Games for certain athletes. And for Michaela, we talked to Michael Eaves on First and Last this morning, who said now she's going to have to compete in those 6 events over the course of 10 days. So a much more condensed schedule for her that makes accomplishing what she set out to do a lot more difficult. Again, you feel so bad because it's once every 4 years and something completely out of her control has changed the routine entirely.
Well, this is her schedule. Tonight, giant slalom. Thursday, the slalom. Friday, the Super G. That's the 16th. And then February 20th, downhill, 22nd combined, 23rd team event. So, yeah, it definitely got congested a bit.
Yeah, no question. That is off the top. The Cavs made the switch at the All-Star break look like an entirely different team. Make the switch brought to you by Pennzoil Synthetics, taking synthetic motor oil performance to a whole new level. Make the switch to Pennzoil Synthetics today. Adnan Verkin for Trade Today. We're Golic and Wing on ESPN Radio and ESPN2. Our Cavs reporter, Dave McMenamin, after Cleveland wins last night.
There was a considerable tension let out of the balloon in that Cavs locker room. Just a joyous scene. We saw guys wishing each other well as they went into the All-Star break, exchanging phone numbers, telling each other, rest up, guys, stay safe, have fun. We can't wait to get back and do this again. Ty Lue, I spoke to him along with another reporter, and he came up to us, big smile on his face, and literally was miming as if he was lifting a weight off his chest and bringing it above his head and then just releasing his body to show that, man, so much has changed. You just go back 7 days. They were blowing a 20-point lead against the Orlando Magic, one of the worst teams in the league, and losing in blowout fashion. Now they're beating some of the best teams in the league on the road at that. And so really just a remarkable turn of events.
Well, it's interesting to hear Dave say that as if there's like a big balloon lifting, because I figured after that Sunday win over Boston, fellas, then they'd feel like a lot more relaxed. But I guess obviously the circumstances, playing the Thunder, Russell Westbrook, et cetera.
Right.
You know, there's heightened expectations after that victory against Boston. Can
Oh,
they
yeah.
again?
Well, and everybody's saying, it's just one game. Well, now they got a second game against certainly a quality opponent who thought they'd be questionable with a couple of the big-time players, but they did play. So you're definitely beating another quality opponent. You're figuring out the rotation. I don't know when they'll be solid in what they have, but to your point, Mike, and I think you're right, there's going to be downsides to this, and they just have to build along the way. And that's going to be the important part is when it starts to go bad, what lessons are you going to learn from that of where you can lean, who you can rely on, what the rotation is going to be when times get tough, when you need that scoring. These are still all the things they have to go through.
They are, and right now, you just at least get to roll in with this good feeling to a break because you know how important these markers are in the season that you build in as a player. As soon as you see the schedule, you see where areas like this pop up where you get that natural chance to exhale, and it makes a huge difference being able to roll into that time period feeling good about what you've accomplished up until that point rather than going in there off a lackluster performance where now all of a sudden you're thinking about that over the break. You're letting that weigh into time instead of being able to enjoy this time off, maybe actually get some rest for the guys that have been beat up over the course of this year and come back understanding that you've still got to build a lot into who you are.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions. At least there was questions previously about Cleveland and the bench production. And now I think that's the big key, that all of a sudden you go, you've got this incredible player in LeBron James, still at the peak of his powers, but now he's got this second unit, and these guys have athleticism, they're young, they're hungry. You look at these numbers. Hood off the bench, 14 points. Clarkson off the bench, 14 points. Nance off the bench, 13 points. Jeff Green off the bench, 10 points. So all of a sudden, you don't feel like it's LeBron and running mate. It's LeBron and a collection of players. And that's always been the issue, it feels like, when you talk about LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yeah, and will the starting lineup switch? Jetty O's been getting that time in, but just under 15 minutes. He gets under 15 minutes in, and then replacing. You see all the guys that you mentioned, from Hood to Clarkson and Nance to Green, 24, 23, 24, 26 minutes. So I still wonder what that rotation is going to be down the road, but I do think it is kind of interesting as you still have that newness to it all, and now they're all like going on break and saying, "Hey, see you soon. Hey, can't wait to see you again. Have a safe break. Talk to you." I think it's hilarious.
Guys getting each other's cell phone numbers now for the first time. It's the strong dap locker room. It's when you're walking away and dapping everyone up and giving hugs on the way out. You know everything is good, but coming back it's a different set of problems. I mentioned it before, but being able to attack everything with effort and energy right now is great.
Right.
And when
Right.
you're getting ready to roll into the All-Star break, you may get teams. Oklahoma City quite literally limped into that game last night with a couple of their guys. Sometimes you get a bit of that foot in the parking lot syndrome where you're already looking towards the break. And so you're not going to be able to just blitz everyone with this kind of effort. We've heard LeBron in every interview he's done since this trade deadline hoarse, because he said, I have to call out sets. I've got to call out these different things because guys aren't up to speed on all of this yet. Do guys having to digest more of that post All-Star break as they get ready for the sets that they're going to hone in on for the playoffs? Does that slow guys down a little bit? Is there any of that paralysis through analysis? When Kevin Love finally comes back, how much does that change the way that they deal with all these things? It's figuring out how you deal with those little bits of adversity so you can bank them for the moments where you finally need them, because LeBron's always had, in the couple of championship teams he's been a part of, a guy like Dwayne Wade who in crunch time he can count on when he was in Miami for big moments. Kyrie Irving for the last few years, where he had an off-speed pitch for a guy that likes to make the right basketball play in key moments. Who is going to surface as that guy over the course of the season, or will anyone enough for LeBron to be able to trust them when they need to?
Yeah, and I just think J.R. Smith is such a wild card in this, right? Because if you can get...
Shot well again. But he's been playing horrible throughout the year, but did shoot well again.
Yeah, he's the guy that I want to give up on and say, no, I don't know how much more he has left in the tank. He was great at one point. But then you're right, 18 points, 6 of 10. Like, if he's that guy that can just show up and give me 15 to 20,
Huge.
not all the time, but more often than not.
Going to be very, very nice.
Yeah,
Real
so
nice.
see what happens in regards to Cleveland. All right, keep sending us your Valentine's Day fails.
Okay, let me
ahead,
stop
Mike,
there through
please.
and I'll read one. Steve sends in, the wife asked me what our Valentine plans were. I told her it's leg day. I can't skip leg day.
Oh,
Wow.
jeez.
How about that?
Hey,
What
listen.
a selfish...
You think? Is that selfish or is that dedication to the process?
Listen, depends again if she's into the legs.
Right,
if that was
right.
a major selling point
Right.
for you got to go in there. Legs feed
Right.
the wolf. That's how the game goes. You
Yeah.
got to go in there and make
Yeah.
sure you keep giving her what she wants.
If
Well,
he
there you
used
go.
that exact expression, then I think it's acceptable. Only if when she asks him, what are we doing, he goes, hey, legs feed the wolf. And he goes, all right, well.
Yeah, there you go.
I can use that much. It's fine.
Say no more.
Valentine's Day fails. Keep sending them to us. Tweet us, Golic and Wingo. Up next, a redemption story that was 4 years in the making.
Hey everyone, Mike Golic here. Support for the Golic Wingo podcast comes from our friends at Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Chances are you're confident when it comes to your work, your hobbies, your life. Rocket Mortgage gives you that same level of confidence when it comes to buying a home or refinancing your existing home loan. With Rocket Mortgage, you can apply simply and understand fully so you can mortgage confidently. To get started, go to rocketmortgage.com/Mikes. Equal housing lender, licensed in all 50 states, NMLSconsumeraccess.org number 3030.
Hello, I'd like to deposit this to checking.
Fate is a fickle master.
What?
The future is uncertain.
Okay, and what's my account balance?
The horizon is cloudy. I see a long, treacherous voyage filled with great peril.
Look, can I just get a deposit slip or something?
A Fortune bank teller. Surprising. What's not surprising? How much you could save by switching to Geico.
I see a yellow-eyed serpent and a low APR.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Mike and I have been locked into the Winter Olympics. It's been so much fun to watch. And props last night to Shaun White for some history. As I mentioned, that gold medal, not only the 100th Winter Olympic gold all time for the United States, but for Shaun White in particular. And we touched on this yesterday, Mike, in terms of the historical incredibleness of this all. White is the first American male to win gold at 3 separate Winter Olympics. Speed skater Bonnie Blair won gold in the 88, 92, and 94 games. But Shaun White, incredible longevity, nailing it once again.
Yeah, I think his score a little over 97 in the final round to get the gold, and it's snowboarding right now. U.S. has swept the 4 snowboarding gold so far at these Winter Olympics, and he does it 3 Olympics in a row. I remember watching Bonnie Blair in the 500, you know, in the sprint. Love him. That's what I was watching speed skating yesterday, the 1500 and the 1000, some cross country skiing, but certainly a different look to Shaun White from the flying tomato, the long hair to the shorter hair, the older as opposed to that youngster when he first started out.
Yeah, continued dominance by the U.S. in this field. We know it really got the most notoriety off of Chloe Kim and what she was able to accomplish in the half pipe first, being the youngest to medal at just 17 years old, a few months shy of that 18th birthday, and has been a lightning rod on that scene. Shaun White, certainly the more established name.
And he did not win in 2014 in Sochi. He finished 4th there. So last night he reclaims the gold medal, and here's what White had to say afterwards. Or was it?
Three-time Olympic gold medalist, man. You know, this, honestly, I'm sure you can tell by my reactions at the bottom of the pipe, but this meant the world to me and my family and my team. And, you know, here doing it for USA again, not only to be an Olympian again, but to be a gold medalist again is just unreal. And I'm proud of myself. I don't say that often, you know. It's like I try to bury it down in there so I can stay motivated and hungry for the next competition, because that's just how I do things. But I'm really taking this moment to be proud and thankful, and yeah, it feels great.
And for Shaun White, it has not been a journey of all ups. There have been some downs. And in August of 2016, Lena Zawade had actually filed a civil suit against him, asking her, saying that he'd failed to pay for work that she had done, and 3 months later amended it to include the fact that White had sexually harassed her. Now, White immediately denied the allegations, though he did admit sending her text messages, which she included as exhibits in the lawsuit. Later on, they reached an undisclosed settlement in 2017, but he was asked about it last night, and they, quickly acknowledged and moved on from there.
Well, exactly. So we absolutely wanted to put that out there. If you want to read the story, it is out there on what she accused him of, as far as from video, text to other things. As well, as we mentioned, it was settled, in 2017,
yep, last year.
But it was brought up to him, so we wanted to bring it up. Certainly, you'll be able to see it. There are descriptions of it everywhere for those that want to check it out.
I watched it happen in real time on my timeline last night, as most of us digest the Winter Olympics through that medium. We know tape delay, all these different things make the normal watching experience a little different. Mm-hmm. But to see that response in real time, where we go from this clutch performance, the elation of what's happened, to a reminder that this is the time period we live in now, where if there is this in your past, and really in the immediate past, and this is sort of the weird ground we fall in with Winter Olympic and Olympic athletes in general, we don't see these guys much outside of the 4 years, these men and women. And so when it comes up, a situation like this that maybe, to the detriment of all involved, was undercovered because of the fact that it's not an athlete that has a ton of notoriety on their biggest stage all the time, now that he hits this moment, it's absolutely going to come up, and it's going to be a part of the conversation. And it was just weird to see that dichotomy at play all at once last night. It truthfully made me uncomfortable with how to feel in all this. You sit there and you see the accomplishment and understand what it means for U.S. Olympics, but you also see the way it was dismissed in the press conference by him and by the U.S. snowboarding PR person, and you just can't help but feel a bit uncomfortable with everything.
Yeah, like you said, it's a disservice to not tell the full story of it. You acknowledge the greatness of his achievement, but also personal issues that clearly he admitted to some of it, and some of it perhaps occurred or did not occur. But in terms of other Winter Olympics yesterday, Mike, you touched on the speed skating. Here's something. We touched with the relay the other day.
Right.
I love this. I'd forgotten this. When they literally pushed the next person forward.
The short track relay, the women did the 3,000 meter and the guys the 5,000 meter. It's a short track where on the outside they're racing, and on the inside they're going around, keeping even with their teammates to kind of shoot into the outer part of the ice and get pushed as they.
There's no batons.
No baton. So that's how they exchange, by pushing one another. It looks confusing. It's choreographed chaos, but it's so much fun to watch. And they're doing like 40 some laps of this thing because it's on the short track, and they're just all kind of keeping their distance. And then the last 3 laps,
incredible.
That's when everybody goes.
Incredible.
Seeing people sliding into the walls and stuff as they're trying to pass
at least one wipeout. Yesterday in the women's, there's a one wipeout late, and also it's like a video game. It's like when you press the turbo button. That's the last
everybody takes off.
It's just going to hyperspeed. Oh my god!
Just that guy that holds down turbo the entire time is just going. He's got Russell Westbrook going.
I had no idea they had anything left in the tank here. It's incredible.
Then I'm watching the 1,500 meter. I mean, just how it has to. These events and how they have to gas you. Me and Chris are watching the cross country skiing. These guys are running uphill. The men and women running uphill. It's like, oh my God. I mean, what it has to take out of you. But we asked this after you left yesterday, Mike. We're trying to figure out because part of what you mentioned about Shaun White in saying it's every 4 years and now the spotlight's on. Well, let's turn that to the good of this. Who of these athletes is going to cash in? Who's going to be that star coming back home that's going to hit the market? Is it going to be Chloe Kim? Is it going to be Red?
Red
Chloe, everybody kind of knew about Chloe, even though she was 17, knew how great she could be. Red came out of nowhere. Red's family's, shooting beers, enjoying the win and stuff. So, or is it somebody else? I'm trying to think, do we have that person yet of who that's going to kind of hit it in the marketing world?
So for me, I see Red as one of those guys that's going to get a couple of GMA appearances out of this, maybe go on Ellen or something, get a nice gift package for him and the family, maybe a Natty Light deal, something like that. He's going to join you guys Friday at 9:05.
Well, there you go. That's the start of it all. He's
awesome.
on with us Friday.
Yeah, exactly. So that's all fine and good. Chloe Kim's got the staying power. Because again, it's a difference of being built for this. This was thrust upon, some people are born great, some people achieve greatness, some have it thrust upon them. It was thrust upon Red. Chloe was ready for this. They said she qualified, but was too young.
13 years old.
The last time around at 13.
Too young.
So she's known this is in the cards, and all she needed was the receipts to back it up. Hey, I know I've got this. I've got the personality to boot, and now I've got the medals in my pocket to go back home and make sure I get everything that I have coming my way off this.
Important point brought up by producer Dan Stanzik. You said a Natty Light deal?
Yeah.
At 17, though, couldn't that be?
Yeah, for the family. For the family.
It's a family deal?
Trickle down deal.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things. The parents have it right now, and where they choose to have it delivered is no one else's business.
That's a family endorsement deal. All right, more Winter Olympics talk coming up a little bit later on. We'll turn our attention, though, to real important matters. Pitch Perfect 2, Pitch Perfect 3, and also the full recap of the dog show last night.
Melted chocolate in the box.
I mean, we're going to hear some epic fails today. There's no question about that. There's people who have stories that are
At least that
powerful
was the thought there. At least he got chocolate. There's something to that, isn't there?
I was about to say, and that is what it comes down to, because some people will argue that it's pretty easy just to go and, 1-800-Flowers.com, which is a great resource to have. It's easy to get some chocolates, but if you can actually be creative a little bit, like the guy planting flowers and hoping to bloom. I mean, there's some element of effort there.
The one thing, he didn't plant them. He said the flowers are too expensive in the store, so he just picked them. But he told us. But if he sold the story to her, here, let me ask you this. Isn't Valentine's Day really what your grade is? Nobody's getting 100%, right? Nobody. But what grade do you get? How well did you do, right? Of the person in your couple, whatever the couple is, whoever that person is that enjoys Valentine's Day, you need to appease that person. And then it's a grading scale. How well did you appease that person? How well did you do on that day?
Nah, I signed up to take that class pass fail. It's pretty cut and dry. You either did or you didn't.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. No one's going to have, that was about an 85% Valentine's Day. I'm with Mike Jr.
Yeah, no.
He did,
really?
He didn't. Yeah.
85% may apply again to that whole idea of the engagement ring, because there are levels to that. Levels that usually are in the thousands of dollars range, but there are levels nonetheless. Can I share an epic fail I had with you guys last night?
Yeah, but after that we're going to do Pitch Perfect 2, Pitch Perfect 3.
Yeah, no, it's really quick, but to that point, it just reminded me of the melted chocolates and the good intentions.
Yeah.
I came home last night with a Chipotle bowl for dinner. Hadn't gone to the grocery store for most of the week. That bowl took a tumble onto the floor.
Right.
I stopped long enough. The contents were everywhere. It was gone on the hardwood floor. Stopped long enough to send you guys a picture.
Yes, you did.
Put something out on social media, and then proceeded to grab a spatula from my drawer, put it all back in the bowl, and still eat it.
You're the only one of our family that seems that acted surprised. Nobody else. Not Jake, not Jenny, not me, not Sydney, not your mother seemed a bit at surprise. We're like, just put it back in the bowl and eat it. What's the big deal? I don't think there's any big deal at all.
There was a little extra kick somehow, too.
Oh, well, there you go.
Well, all's well that ends well. There was also, I believe, a Golick family dispute about Pitch Perfect 2 versus Pitch Perfect 3.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, God.
We went and saw that, me, Mike, and my wife, Mike's mother, and Chris and I both like Pitch Perfect 2 better than Pitch Perfect 3. And Mike, for some reason, doesn't. Put it up on a poll this morning, didn't you? How's that working for you?
Well, yeah, listen, let's not act like the scientific nature of the Twitter poll is somehow justifying your opinion.
Then why you put one up?
This.
You're putting up a poll to get the pulse of the people out there, and they told you you're wrong.
You put up a poll that people agree with you. If they don't, you discount
it.
Exactly. That's how the results go. But again, after your bunk opinion on The Shape of Water, I feel like we can discount pretty much all of your movie
opinions.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm talking
about. I've got to attack your credibility at every turn.
The Fisherman can do another dance. Can't wait to hear his acceptance speech. The stupidest movie of all time.
We'll update the poll numbers on Pittsburgh 2, Pittsburgh 3 a little bit later on. That was Straight Talk, brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. Nationwide coverage on America's largest and most dependable 4G LTE networks. Mike, you were locked into the dog show last night.
Yeah.
Now, Flynn the Bichon Frise.
Yeah.
Winning Best in Show, but topping other contenders like Slick the Border Collie and a pug named Biggie.
Oh.
The choice was a surprise to most of the crowd at Madison Square Garden, with many fans falling silent when the 5-year-old white powder pup was picked.
So the wife and I were watching this. We watched it, the everything. We're flipping back and forth. We had the Cavs game. We had the Olympics. And we had the Westminster. I mean, it was a fantastic evening.
Right.
But of course, we were locked in on the 7 group winners for the dogs of who was going to be best in show. Saw the whole thing again. And yeah, it was a little surprising. There was a little bit of shock that Flynn won it. Now listen, I love all dogs. I absolutely do. But I was a little surprised at this. I was pulling, I know you were as well, Mike, for Biggie the Pug. Biggie the Pug was a crowd favorite and was cute as hell, by the way, as they all are. Ty the Giant Schnauzer came in second. Bean the Sussex Spaniel was very impressive, was begging for his treat up on his hind legs, really trying to put on a show.
Right.
Looking like begging to the judge to kind of vote for me.
Right.
It was very, very cute in seeing that. But it was a little surprising that the Bichon Frise. Now, I will say, growing up, the people behind me, one of my best friends, Dave Neckick, his family, they had Bichon Frises. That's where I first, got to when I was younger. And I, like I said, love dogs. Some of them, they're cute dogs. But I was a little surprised at this one and a little bummed out for Biggie the Pug.
I was bummed out for Biggie the Pug.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're pug people. We're going to pull for the pug. This is surprising. No one. I have to express a certain level of disgust for this crowd. To fall silent for the big moment for Flynn the Bichon Frise is an absolute travesty. You should all be ashamed of yourselves. It is absolutely horrific what you put that dog through. That dog doesn't know what's going on. That dog knows it came there to hang out with other dogs and maybe see a few new humans, maybe get some pets, experience some smells that it hadn't experienced before. The gifts, there's no prize money. It gets a bowl, lucrative breeding fees, and a lifetime of memories, which, congrats on the sex, but besides that, what else is getting the rewarded for the dog other than just a little bit of praise? And for the crowd to withhold that, even because of their shock in that moment, is despicable.
So, okay, you're saying shock, but then it should transform to awe.
Support, quite literal awe. It's a cute, wonderful dog.
It's not like there was some cheering. It's not like they booed. I mean, at no time at all did Flynn feel disrespected, I don't think.
You don't know that.
Oh, I don't. Flynn was getting enough treats at that point. Listen, Flynn was getting the treats. Flynn was happy.
How about the total numbers? 2,882 entries in 202 breeds and varieties. Among those who didn't make the cut, face-licking Spicy Nacho, the miniature bull terrier who drew laughs.
Yeah.
Just not the judges.
Just not the judges. And Mike mentioned Flynn. Flynn is going to go on some morning shows, a steak lunch at Sardi's, a trip to the top of the Empire State Building, and invited for a walk-on part on the Broadway hit Kinky Boots. So there's something that Flynn gets to do. No prize money at all. But what's the dog going to do with prize money? But you know what the owners are going to make and are going to make on the breeding money. That's what they're going to make money on.
Exactly.
Right.
Why are the owners getting all the benefits of this? I don't think
you don't
Flynn
think that dog is. You don't think Flynn gets treated great?
You can't eat an EGOT, Dad. You can't eat it.
Flynn is getting treated just fine. We're happy for Flynn. I don't think Flynn got disrespected. I was a little surprised at the silence at the beginning. Right. I think people were truly stunned.
Right.
That Biggie didn't win this thing, the pug.
Yeah. But congratulations. Obviously a wonderful event. Coming up next, we're switching gears. Mike Golic Jr. might want to sit on our next topic. His contributions will probably be vacated anyways.
Oh!
Ouch. Plus, a former slam dunk champion on the next hour. Dan Stanzik taking the honors for that one. Adnan Burke in for Trey. Golic and Wingo, ESPN Radio.